drink. Good morning, everybody coming in. I already pinned it. I completely forgot I did that. Also, I need to go get I need to refresh this pencil. I need to go get a new one. Alright, how do we get this out of here? Alright, I'll just leave it in there for now. Have to get something to help me get it out. Alright, where do we leave off? Alright, right there. The Dr. Banner drawing. Good morning. Interesting pose she gave Mr. Banner the Anole. Good morning. Good morning, everybody popping in. Happy Sunday. Good morning. Oh, that's right, I forgot to turn that on. One more thing to turn on. There we go. Really forgot about that. That's not gonna work. I have to get a pliers to pull it out, I think. There you go, Bosch. I'm sorry. The dog is desperate to be comfortable under his bed, and I'm just causing problems. Alright. Let's stick this one up here, I guess. Or up here. So need room for the big one down here. Let's move this stuff back into position. Good morning. Alright, I'll stick this walking one right here. See if we can't finish off this book today. There's like a little interview or something at the end that I should probably read too, but I don't think I'll do that online. Good morning, everybody popping in. Oh, hello over there. Mercy Ops. I'm doing great. This is the final page of this book I've been studying from. So, I started this little one back in September. And slowed down a bit because I cut everything back to an hour. But had too many things I needed to do. There's a question over here. The tool I am using, this is just a colored pencil. It has an extender on it because the pencil's gotten quite short. Yeah, so this project's nearly complete. So this is the final page of illustrations that are in here. So if I pull up the book here, move on to something else, soon. But this is the page I'm on, and this is the book. So, but again, I started this back in early September, so yeah, I was going through books a lot faster now. I was just kind of doing the rough sketching, and then I decided to start testing out my inking skills, and practicing those. So that slowed it down, and then took the decided to cut back on the amount of time I was doing this in the morning. So I was spending like 2 hours in the morning doing stuff, and it's just good to do too. But I have other things I have to get done. It's part of the larger goal. Yeah, that one was pretty funny. Yeah, don't know if they picked the best names or something. Like they had like a Captain America Parasaurolophus, or however you say that one. I kind of think the Triceratops would have worked better just because it has a shield already, but maybe she thought that was too obvious or something. But she went with the Triceratops for Thor instead. I don't know. Thor just seems more like a predatory animal too. As a Nordic god. I think I'll ink these and then save the last one just so I don't have to move the stuff around as much. Yeah, the Thorosaurus, I think, is what she called it. I'll stir up my inks a little bit. Yeah, so I was kind of going through these books like one a month or something like that for a while, but yeah, she's great. She's got a great imagination, and there's a reason why she's been so active in the film world for so long. Oh, it does that, right? I think the trick is just finding some time every day. So even if you just have like 20 minutes or something, or you often find like if you're just kind of sitting there, waiting for something else to happen, that's a good opportunity to have a sketchbook on hand. And if you get something that's small, that you can carry around with you everywhere you go, like a fit in your hand, and then like a pencil kit or something like that, or even just a decent pen in your pocket. As soon as you kind of start building that habit of doing that, all the time, it can make a big difference. So even if you're you're not doing a major focus thing or a big project, just kind of getting into that habit helps a lot. It's like a lot of people, when they come on these streams, not to say mine, but just in general, they always ask about, art block or lack of motivation or whatever. And usually that's for me, I think that's kind of a sign of general, common everyday depression. But that most time that kind of not the non-chemical type of depression, but just the malaise that people kind of get into. They can find that you can find that just by starting something, that it makes a big difference, and then trying to be find some kind of consistency with that something also make a big difference. So usually I think a lot of times that depression just comes from people just not doing things, not being creative, not being active with their creativity. It's one of the harms I kind of see coming out of all this AI nonsense is people kind of outsourcing creativity to these algorithms, which I think will cause nothing but misery for people that adopt it. I know people that have used it for a while and then they gave up on it just because they're just like, it's not doing me any good, because it doesn't actually add to your abilities. It just takes. And so something I'm kind of combating right now at my university, because I'm dealing with a bunch of people who think that they're smart enough to overcome their human tendencies, which they are not. I'm not. I'm not above any of that. But they seem to think that they're good enough and smart enough and capable enough to do so. And but I think if you kind of just have that on hand and you just leave it out, whatever you're doing, and just draw, it'll make a big difference. Unless you're like a med student and you've got 60-hour work weeks or something like that. Takes you months to get medication when you're writing books. Oh, motivation. Yeah, I was like, that was very confusing. No, yeah, motivation. Like I said, like I have my more creative days and less creative ones, but just to, a lot of times it helps again just to have a project. So like if you're, so with the sketchbook thing, if you have a specific thing that you want to do, that's a lot easier to help you kind of focus and make sure it happens than if you're just doing whatever, right? So if you're writing or drawing or whatever, if you don't have like a specific thing to do, you're kind of always reaching out trying to figure out what that should be. Whereas if you have some kind of project going on, that you can kind of default to. It doesn't mean you can't do other things, but like if you're a sketchbooking person, you're looking around at the room, or you're drawing the composition you see, or the people, or the expressions, or you've got photographs pasted in there that you want to copy or something, from portraits. But usually, the motivation problem is just solved usually by having something worth doing that you really want to do. And again, I have more focused days and less focused ones. I've got, a lot of things distracting me as well. So that's usually the thing. Well, yes, the magic. So for those that don't know, I am sketching from Terryl Whitlatch's Science of Creature Design. This is actually the last page. She's combining dinosaurs with Marvel superheroes. So this is Hulkasaurus. Even has like a little tuft of hair up here that I need to put in. So every morning I like to spend about an hour doing some kind of study project before I get into whatever it is that I'm doing that day. So like I've been spending most of my mornings after this working on my teaching site. You can see at the bottom of the screen on the other channels. And don't say that on the Instagram side, but on the YouTube, Twitch, etc. side. And then the afternoon's kind of working on this other project I have ongoing. So I've been, but every morning I like to do the study thing, and so that's changed depending on what I'm doing. Like I did expressions for a while. I've drawn from other like figure drawing books. So I started this one back in September, and because I have all these art books, right? So maybe you're kind of like me, where you've got like a ton of art books. Most people don't have as many as I do. I know a guy who threw out a bunch in a move, and I'm just like horrified by that. That just it hurts me every time he says that. But I never asked about the particulars of why. I wondered if there was like a financial situation or something. But I have all these art books I've collected since I was a student, and before, I guess, a little bit. And thought, I should be taking advantage of these books, not just looking at them or reading what the artist has to say, but sketch their sketches, do whatever is in the books, and kind of make it my own. Yeah, Thor would have been like early last week, I think, would have been the Thor stuff. So, so I have all these art books, and I wanted to start sketching from them. So this really started, I don't know, 3 or 4 years ago, and that one kind of started and stopped a little bit because I was really busy at a certain point. But ever since I've kind of moved to here, where I'm living now in Virginia, the new teaching job, things a little bit more consistent. So I've been taking an hour out of my morning to work on this little study project. So I started sketching from these, and I've gone through a bunch of books. This one slowed me down a little bit just because I decided to limit the amount of time. So before I was like doing a certain amount of page or drawings or something like that, and it was just kind of taking up a huge chunk of my day. So I decided to cut it back a little bit and just spend a certain amount of time. And then I also want to practice my inking skills. So I've been studying some inkers and some tools and things like that just to look at the graphic potential within ink. And so that's also kind of taken up a certain amount of time. But so I would have been done with this probably a couple months ago if I just did what I was doing before. But this is the final page of that book. Well, final page of art. There is like a interview in here. I did meet Miss Whitlatch at Lightbox recently. She's very nice. Very concerned. She's going to SCAD to teach, which I've taught at SCAD. It's a miserable institution. Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, so Terryl, she draw the interview. Yeah, that would take a. I'm not that great at rendering text. There's a couple of pictures of her. I'll show those when I get on there. But her background is in I think animal biology or something like that. I forget exactly which biology, but she's really familiar with actual animal anatomy, which is why her stuff gets used for a lot of films and other entertainment products, because she really understands what's going on with the animals. I first became aware of her with the Star Wars prequel art books. She was a creature designer for those. Her probably most famous creature design is Jar Jar Binks. I mean, she designed a lot of the other characters too, but that's he's probably the one that sticks out the most from those prequel movies as a new character. It's funny because by the I think the second movie even he was kind of in the background. Yeah, so if you open up the art of whatever prequel books, you'll see a bunch of her work in there. She's got 3 books on creature design. I should pick up the third one. I've got 2 of them. I just never picked up the third one. Maybe I should just order that, just so my life is complete. I don't have to ever talk about not having it again. So, yeah, that's kind of her lore, I guess. Where she's from, what she's done. Um, but she's worked on all kinds of major blockbusters, that involve creatures, especially if they need something that's believable, because she understands the anatomy really really well. Can draw, understands all the muscles and the skeletal structure and all that kind of important stuff. So yeah, um, yeah. I think what I'm gonna do next is some figure stuff. Um, Not necessarily from a book. I've got a bunch of reference packs that I've collected, some paid, some free, over the years, and I thought those would be a good kind of place to play with, review anatomy structures while sketching them, review stylization and making things more dynamic, so kind of not say caricaturize, but make things a little more interesting. From expressions and hands and things like that. So maybe do that. This actually finishes off this book too. I've got like one page left in here. Um, um, yeah. So that's what I'm thinking of doing next, is kind of doing that. So I've got, I queued up a bunch of that onto my iPad, well, onto the Google Drive, and maybe delete images as I go so I can put new stuff on there. Do that for maybe a couple months or something, at least a month. That's a little less definite in terms of time frame. Could be an alternate day thing too. I was thinking about looking at one of the Marcos Meister books. Marcos Mateo Meister. How do you say it? I'm not sure you actually say that name correctly, but any Spaniards in the crowd? So, yeah, but I definitely recommend checking out her stuff. And she doesn't, ink anything. What she primarily does, she works in pencil, and she photocopies stuff in and then colors it with markers. And or sometimes she'll color things in Photoshop too, but but she doesn't really kind of do the finished kind of ink rendering that I'm kind of doing here. We got one drawing left after this one. How are we doing for time anyway? 37? That's not too bad. So, yeah. We'll see how that goes. Everybody lose their TikTok account today? Alright. I'll move stuff around a little bit so I can get the last one. Why? What was Canada's? Did Canada ban it too? I mean, I see Canada banning stuff all the time, but you know. That sounds interesting. Come over here for the last one. Excuse me. Morning gunk, right? Alright, I need to make sure the foot doesn't go off page though. It's funny, I've seen people on like, so I've actually been banned off of TikTok. I was committed the horrible sin of putting links in my posts, which I didn't realize you weren't supposed to do. I just figured, you know, if they don't work, they don't work. But I didn't see any warnings about doing it. So it's probably in the terms of service, and I was just unaware because, you know, I don't really use it. I was just cross-posting stuff over there. So I haven't even really paid attention to it in a long time. I guess I could have made a new account and whatever, but I think it's still kind of silly. I think the whole thing is ridiculous. It's at least as far as the United States go, like supposedly the Bill of Rights applies to anybody inside of the United States. So any company, anybody, so free speech is universal, whether you're American or even Canadian. It's if you're in the United States, you're welcome to say what you want. I don't think they should have done this. Yeah, so that's what their AI system told me, because I kept pestering it and then gave up after a while. I should probably just. I'm told like you can kind of keep pestering it and sometimes it'll let you back in. But we'll see. So I've never really used it, so yeah, I'm mostly on Instagram. I'm obviously broadcasting on these other platforms like Twitch and YouTube, etc. But I just kind of figured out how to cross platforms, so I'm not limiting myself as much. But so yeah, I think it's stupid. But I've seen some people trying to blame Trump or Republicans for it, and they may have pushed it through as part of like an aid bill, but it was Biden who signed it. And so I see this as kind of one of those classic. There's an expression I like. There's the evil party and there's the stupid party, and when the evil party and the stupid party get together to do something, they do something that is both evil and stupid, and we call this bipartisanship. It's always been one of my little favorite aphorisms. Alright, there's the final pencil sketch. I need to get a new one of these pencils too. This one's down to the nub. Yeah, again, that's what the machine told me, so that's all I know. And you know how much I love the machines, but I'm fighting my own department over AI at the moment, and all the arguments I keep hearing are so bad as to why we should use it. A lot of it involves kind of how they look down on students and their future opportunities. And they've got this department that's growing really fast, but they're going to kill that growth by incorporating this in there. They're going to cause themselves significant harm in the long term, especially when the bubble pops on this nonsense. So, but Yeah, so that was the reason I was given. I wasn't like posting anything weird or controversial. It was the kind of just the sketches I do, the time lapses and things. That's what I was posting up there. Um, so yeah, I don't know. Beyond that, that's what they said. So I barely had any. I just started the account. I think I've been running it for a few weeks. Rainland Studios, my little art and illustration kind of business name that I use on Instagram and other places. The My Art Professor thing is more of my teaching site ID, but yeah, so it killed that one. I think I have one that's actually my name, which is Peter Sakovich. I think I made one of those a long time ago. I just haven't looked at it, so maybe I should look at that again. But I try to keep that to be more of like the traditional fine art stuff that I've done. So, but yeah, this is the final drawing from this book. So maybe we'll do like a little. So I've got like 10 minutes left. And try to keep this to about an hour as a warm up in the morning. And again, what I like about this too is like even if it's going to be a busy kind of art drawing day or something like this, at least I've done something. I can't obviously use this as an excuse to be less productive, but as long as I set something up that's worth doing, then definitely feels like I got something worth doing done, which I think is good. Any electricians in the crowd today? I'm having a weird electrical problem with I have a little camper build that I did inside of my SUV, and I'm having a weird problem with the diesel heater. There's a communication error, but all the connections look really good. I'm wondering if maybe something came loose on the inside, which means I have to take the whole thing apart open it up and take a look on the inside. I think the other option would be to like just kind of, I think my cable for my electrical reader is long enough that it should be able to kind of check through the different wires maybe. So sharpen up that tail. So, yeah, I was interesting with the whole TikTok ban thing because I just think it's stupid. Even though they banned me, yeah. You know, people do a lot of silly things and like on social media or whatever. But that's been true of all time. It's just that this time your silliness gets broadcasted out to everybody. Alright, let's clean up these edges. Alright, so this is page 159, and today is the 19th. So 25, not 24, 9. And that is the end of that book. So, let me close up my ink bottle here so I don't make a mess. Number of times I knocked this bottle over after not closing it is a tragedy in and of itself. But let me pull this up here. So this is the last page of the book right there. But been doing double side. This is actually a very expensive sketchbook. But so if we open up to page 1, let's back this up a little bit. There we go. Move the phone out of the way. But yeah, so this was where I started back in September 8th. And then, of course the other ones are going to be kind of upside down because I'm flipping the book as I go. But here she's doing some comparative anatomy, starting off with monkeys, apes. And there's the X page, and then there's some more ape stuff. So there's a lot of skeletons and kind of muscular analysis going on in the book, which is really, really good. There's a type of saber-toothed tiger that has sheath over its thing. There's a pangolin. and dog. So she goes through a whole bunch of different animals in the book. And I was trying out different inking things. This is with a Sumi brush. Most stuff I did in here was with the Hunt 102 pen nib. But so there's hyenas and a bear. But she kind of goes through just a whole bunch of like real animals as part of her point of making, that we should study real things. Oops. But yeah, this sketchbook I really like. It's the Stillman and Birn, BIRN, and it's kind of this really nice Bristol board that handles wet stuff really well. So they're expensive though. I think it was like $30 for this book. That's why I'm kind of doing the front and back sides of things. And here's some more. But he starts kind of showing application. So like this is a creature she made up over here that's based off of other things that she's been looking at in here. But just mostly every day. I probably missed a few days here and there if I were to go through and calculate what days I missed. Hellbender, that's a real thing. And then she takes like real things and then she starts kind of mixing them up a little bit to come up with new things, like this guy right here. So that's kind of her larger point, is that as she goes through the book, is that you want to study the real animals and kind of understand their variations and their lifestyle and their structure as a way of kind of getting at, kind of bringing that into your own work. Horsies. That's definitely something I should learn to kind of draw more out of my head. I'll bring the book down here in a second too. This is on the cover. That's from the cover. Well, she puts it on the cover rather. So again, she's making up some animals here, but she's looking at horses, and so there's a Pegasus, and she were looking at birds and understanding birds' wing structure and why it works the way it does, and how do you kind of blend that with a horse to come up with a Pegasus. So, horse, and then you got these undersea mammals, and then she blends those together into a new creature. So there's the new creature. Kind of, she did like these compositional sketches with it. Rhinos and more rhinos. New creature over there. And then here's another kind of new sea creature she designed. So she designs the skeleton. I didn't go through and maybe draw all of the spines on the spine, on the spines on the spine. So the parts that sticks up are called spines, but so is the rest of the spinal column. And then some more kind of composite. She was practicing a bunch of different compositions here until she settled on this one. So it's like a whole little troop of them hanging out together. Which I done a couple of those. I need to finish one up and get it up, but then she moves into prehistoric animals. So you got dinosaurs, and technically not dinosaurs, pterosaurs, and some other kind of creatures from that time period. More dinosaurs. Yeah, more dinosaurs. He was trying to treat this one like it was a dog. Like a giant dog, basically. Yeah, so I've been, live streaming most of this. Not all of it. I think I started off I wasn't, and then I kind of like, hey, I spent an hour on this. I've got it all set up. I might as well do it. Stegosaurus. But again, for me, it was two things. One, it was paying attention to her approach to creature design and the elegance of her drawings. And then also practicing, the inking techniques with some of the pen nibs and things that I have. I'm very comfortable with markers and fine liners, but I've got, some other tools around here that are fine. So there's the Captain Americasaurus over here, the Paracephalosaurus as a Captain America. I like the lounge lizard here too that she did. He's supposed to be like a mid-century modern ad executive or something. There's the Triceratops people were mentioning before, the Thorosaurus. So a bunch of poses with him here. Captain America hanging out over there with his shield. Here's the Iron Ankylosaurus. So Ankylosaurus done up as Iron Man. That one made a lot more sense because, you know, the armor plating on that particular kind of dinosaur. Some more Thorosaurus poses over here. And then we're getting into the finished stuff right here. So here's, you know, 4 months of work, right? Just in a couple of seconds here, a couple minutes. So here's the, you know, the Hulkasaurus, and there's Bruce Banner. There's some more of the Ankylosauruses there. And then here's yesterday and today, and the end. So, and then I've got 1 page left, so I think I'll just call it there with that book. But I'll kind of flip through the actual art book here too that I've been, again, using as my study source. So, again, this is the Science of Creature Design that I've been referencing here. Let me get a brace up there to hold it in place. Get this out of the way. That's the cover. You know, some drawings in here. Table of contents. It shows different chapters, of course. So I drew all these too. So like the little bird up there, and but you know, kind of talking about the structure of drawing. So the simplified skeleton there, the armature, the actual skeleton, muscles, surfaces, and then details. Bunch of nice little gorilla pencil drawings. So you can see what she does here. They're all pencil drawings that she scans in or photocopies, and then colors either with marker or with the Photoshop or something. Yeah, Thylacosmilus. Thylacosmilus. But I'll just, I'll flip through all the pages. But yeah, this is her book. So she's got 3 of these. This is one of them, obviously. I've got one other one. I need to pick up the 3rd one. I just feel stupid not having it, so maybe I should just order that, right? Well, need to spend money, right? Dinosaurs. That's right. There's this whole thing right here. Did I draw this? I think I skipped this just because I think most of these drawings are kind of scattered throughout the book as it is. But yeah, definitely top recommended. Like if you're interested in animal anatomy or animal drawing or creature design, like, you know, I would definitely call these books necessary. Some nice horse drawings. There's some more of the imaginative stuff. So nice big long drawing right there. Oops. Keep knocking stuff over. Table's at an angle, so things fall off pretty easily. Yeah, she plans out the muscles. So it's definitely kind of on my high recommended. Yeah, here we go. Saurocanine, the Dogosaurus. So that was the Brontosaurus acting like a dog. So I always like the Protoceratops. There's one in the Dinotopia books. It's kind of a friend to everybody. Stegosaurus, or Styracosaurus, sorry. Stegosaurus is one with the big plates on its back. Styracosaurus is that one. Here's this guy, the Madison Avenueosaurus. So she must have been watching Mad Men or something. But and then here's the last few pages, and then there's a picture of her. This is the interview with her, so I'll probably read through that on my own. But and then there's a picture of her as a kid with a horse, of course. A girl who's into horses as a little girl goes into animal drawing. Who would have guessed, right? A little glossary, and then some notes here at the end. So that's Terryl Whitlatch's book. But yeah, hopefully we'll be back tomorrow morning for sure. Maybe later today. We'll see what's going on. I've been working on that grease pencil illustration on the computer. I'll probably work on that this evening. Gotta clean my book up. It's got some gunk on there. But yeah, thanks everybody that came in, and we'll talk at you later.